Every cursed object wants something. The black key wanted to be used. It was found inside a sealed wooden box during the demolition of an abandoned Victorian home. No note, no markings, just a heavy iron key with a handle as black as burned bone. It fit no known lock. The foreman who found it started dreaming that same night. A red door standing alone in an empty field. Every night, he stood a little closer. After a week, he quit his job. 3 days later, he vanished. The key eventually reached a college student named Emily. She thought it was just a cool decoration. The dream started immediately, but she wasn't alone. A tall, faceless figure stood beside the door, perfectly still, just waiting. On the 9th night, she reached the door. The key turned by itself. Emily woke up screaming. Her bedroom door was wide open. She always locked it before sleeping. Neighbors found muddy footprints leading from her apartment into the nearby woods. One set of prints, going in, none coming back. If you ever dream of a red door standing alone in an empty field, don't go looking for a key, because the black key doesn't find you until it already knows you're ready. I only meant to kill 10 minutes. The arcade was half dark, machines humming quietly in the shadows. But in the back corner, there was a cabinet I had never seen before. Black, no logo, no artwork, just one word glowing on the screen, Polybius. I put in a quarter. The shapes moved wrong, colors folding in on themselves, patterns that made no sense. But I kept playing, and the longer I stared, the harder it was to look away. Then the screen showed my hallway, my actual hallway. Something tall and flickering stepped out of my bedroom door. Its head snapped toward me. I tried to walk away. My legs would not move. The screen went black. I ran home and told myself it was just a game. That night at 2:17 in the morning, I woke up to a hum. My TV was on. One word glowing on the screen, Polybius. My hallway appeared again. The door was already open, and something was standing right behind me. I can feel it breathing. I am not turning around. Did you know there's a bus line in rural Russia that passengers boarded and never came back from? In 1978, a commuter bus on a remote highway outside Petrozavodsk vanished with 31 passengers on board. No wreckage, no bodies, no skid marks. Soviet authorities called it a mechanical failure and closed the case within a week. But witnesses at the last stop said something strange. The bus pulled away normally. Then the taillights slowed, then stopped, then disappeared into the dark. Search teams found nothing for 3 days. On the 4th day, they found the bus. Empty, engine running, doors open. Every personal item was still inside. Bags, coats, a child's shoe. The driver's seat had handprints pressed so deep into the steering wheel that the rubber had split. Soviet records on the incident were sealed until 1991. When researchers finally accessed the files, several pages had been removed. The case was never officially solved. 31 people stepped onto that bus. Not one of them ever stepped off. Everyone said the dark web was just a myth. Ryan didn't believe that. He was a computer science student who liked poking around hidden corners of the internet. One night he found a page with no title, no description, just a black screen and a button that said "Watches Live." He clicked it. A flickering light bulb lit up an empty room. One wooden chair. A digital clock counting down from 1 hour. For 20 minutes, nothing happened. Then a figure in a white mask walked in and stared directly into the camera. No movement, no sound. Then it slowly raised one finger and pointed behind the lens. The stream cut off. Ryan went back the next night. Same room, same countdown. When the timer hit 0, 3 loud knocks echoed through the speakers. The masked figure turned toward the sound and looked terrified. A door creaked open. The camera glitched. Stream ended. He checked the source code. Buried inside was one line. Thank you for observing. SUBGT has been transferred. Then someone knocked on his apartment door. 3 knocks. Exactly like the stream. Nobody was there. Just a small package on the mat. Inside, it was the white mask. He threw it away. Installed cameras everywhere. Nothing happened for 6 days. On the 7th night, every camera went dark at 3:03 in the morning. When they came back online, 10 minutes of footage had been wiped clean, except for one single frame, Ryan asleep in his bed. And standing right beside him was the masked figure, but its face was completely blurred, like the camera refused to record what it actually looked like. Ryan burned everything connected to that website. Weeks passed. He felt safe again. Then he bought a new laptop. First time he powered it on, one icon sat on the desktop. He had installed nothing. A black square labeled Watch Each Live. He clicked it without thinking. The stream opened immediately. Empty room. No chair. Just a camera pointed directly at him. Viewer count in the corner read 1. Then it changed to 2. Someone else was watching Ryan now. And whatever it was, it had been waiting for him to come back. Did you know one man killed 22,000 people in 28 nights, and the Soviet government buried it so deep that his name disappeared from history entirely? His name was Vasily Blokhin. He was the chief executioner of the NKVD, and in the spring of 1940, he was given a job that should have been impossible for a human being to complete. Polish military officers, thousands of them, brought to Caton Forest one by one. Blokhin prepared like a craftsman. He wore a leather apron and a leather cap to keep the blood off his uniform. He imported German Walther pistols because Soviet models overheated after too many shots. He soundproofed the rooms. He built a system. Then he worked 8-hour shifts, night after night, for 28 consecutive nights. 1 bullet each, the back of the skull. Next man. The thing that makes this truly horrifying is not just what he did. It is that it worked. The system held. The man held. Until it didn't. By 1955, Blokhin was a secret alcoholic, stripped of his rank, erased from every official record. The Soviet state that built him simply deleted him. The most prolific individual killer in recorded human history died invisible, rotting from the inside out, in a country that pretended he never existed. Some monsters aren't made in the dark. They're made in offices, with paperwork, and a leather apron.
In 1959, 9 hikers left a train station in the Ural foothills, carrying a paper map, ration tins, and radios that barely worked. Their goal was ordinary: walk, camp, return. Local Mansi families still moved through these hills with careful rhythms. They knew which winds meant stable snow, which trails froze without warning, and which valleys absorbed sound. The hikers laughed at the superstition. They called it old folklore and kept going. By the 3rd day, one man noted the compass behaved strangely. The needle swung, then settled, but only after he stared at it too long. Another wrote that their boots sank deeper than the snow should allow. Not soft, not liquid, just wrong, as if the ground had a memory. They camped beside a stream that looked clear. Yet when they boiled water, the steam rose in layers, like breath from different bodies. One hiker said he smelled birch smoke. Another swore it was iron. No one could agree, but no one stopped. When rescuers found their campsite, nothing was neatly broken. Tents stood upright. Ropes were tied with care. The mess hall items were arranged, even the cups. The sleeping bags lay open, as if someone decided to return later. Then the details that did not belong. The stones around the fire ring were stacked in a pattern that resembled a hearth diagram used in Mansi ceremonies. But it was not complete. It looked like a draft, half-formed. Someone had tried to copy it from memory. At the edge of the camp, they discovered small carved marks on birch bark. Not names, not dates. Short symbols, repeated, consistent.